and welcome to 4th Down and 4. Tonight we relive some of the top moments in LSU football and basketball, plus Tulane baseball history. But first, to one of the most successful seasons, but one of the most heartbreaking games in Saints history. We take you back to the days of Rickey Jackson and Pat Swilling, Eric Martin and Floyd Turner, year number 6 of the Jim Mora era. It was a year the Saints finally unseated the San Francisco 49ers, ending their 5-year run as NFC West champions. But it was also a year the Saints continued another streak of playoff losses, making the franchise 0-3 in postseason games. On December 28, 1991, the Saints met their arch rivals, the Atlanta Falcons, in a playoff game in the Superdome.
We had killed Atlanta early in the year,
but couldn't copy their execution in that earlier 27-6 victory.
We stopped knowing what we did to get there. See, one problem that we had was we do enough to get there and do the right thing to get there, but once we get there, everybody tried to make like they got us there. And once that happened, that's where the champion come in at from average team.
Part of the reason the Saints turned average was injuries.
I think what hurt us that time was our 2 cornerbacks were out. Toy Cook had broke his arm, Vince Buck broke his neck, and the backups we had weren't as good.
But also not as good in that playoff game were the players and Saints coaching staff.
We did great things to get there, and once that game came, everybody wanted to elevate themselves to stardom, and even with coaches. I mean, it happened. I mean, plays that they've been calling, we ain't doing that now. We're trying something that we ain't tried and end up costing us a game.
And maybe another factor, the Saints' running game.
Do you know who your leading rusher was in '91 against the Falcons?
No.
Well, it was Fred McAfee with 49 yards. Yes, the same Fred McAfee who's still on the Saints roster.
I'm still a believer that in playoff games and the way our team was structured, that you really still needed to control the tempo of the game. And we didn't have big rushing days where, as a quarterback, I'm telling you, that helps you to be more productive.
With Milton Mack starting at one cornerback spot, the Saints gave up 2 touchdowns to Michael Haynes, the last a 61-yarder late in the 4th quarter to give the Falcons a 27-20 victory.
Well, the Saints were up 13-10 in that game against the Falcons at the half, outscored 17-7 in the second half. Michael Haynes had a huge day. He had 6 catches for 144 yards, a couple of touchdowns, including a 61-yarder for the last score of the game, and just ran by Milton Mack like he was in cement shoes.
But 1991 was also the year the Saints won the NFC West for the first time in club history, and it was the year of that unique cheer.
Cha-ching! Cha-ching! And all I have to say is ching ching.
The ching thing just permeated the entire season.
1 double cheeseburger, ching. Large fries and a large soda, cha-ching.
Taken from a commercial, cha-ching became a battle cry for Saints fans and players, and it was a cheer heard loud around the New Orleans area and in the Saints locker room on December 22nd of 1991 when the Saints beat the Cardinals on the road to capture the NFC West championship.
That was probably one of the emotional happiness I've ever seen a locker room. We had beat the Cardinals in Phoenix, and all of a sudden, here you got all these macho men in the locker room, and actually, you looked around, everyone had tears in their eyes simply because when Coach Mora gave his speech, you know, his Coach Mora, ex-Marine guy, and he's like, and he couldn't even hardly talk. He was so choked up. I mean, I even get choked up kind of thinking about it now.
Still to come on 4th Down and